Boom. All right. Welcome to the Rocket Launcher Podcast. This is episode 113, 113. And I am your host, Supreme King. Join with me, as always, is my co-host. His name is...
It's Chicago Basis.
All right, man. We are in the trenches right now as far as game releases and big titles that are basically dropping, right before we have this so-called like Game of the Year award show and stuff. Because October is one of those stacked months, right?
Yeah,
October is a stacked month. There's a lot of stuff going out here. And I'm excited about a few things. I really do think that for me, I'm still not going to make a lot of make a lot of purchases until the Black Friday time. I'm going to give it about a month. But there's a lot of stuff that's out currently and is coming out that are really hot in these streets. So we're going to talk about a couple games and a couple games that are like just now coming out. And then a few different things that I wanted to speak on regarding Nintendo, Xbox, and PlayStation. But I want to start on a high note. But how you doing? Everything good? Everything's cool?
Well, I just found out they released a Power Rangers movie on Tubi, so yeah, I'm good.
Is that like a original movie, like from some people?
Yeah, it's like those ones that people be doing the movies on YouTube or the TV series on YouTube. It's one of those, but it made it to Tubi.
Okay. Tubi been hot for a lot of films. I did see that one film where I told you about the well, I don't think I should say that. We'll talk about it later.
I know what you're talking about.
There's some film. Some are not necessarily as friendly for this particular platform, but that's okay. That's okay. Everybody want to talk about gaming. I want to actually start off on a high note this time. One of the first times I've done it in a while, and just give the props to one of your topics. I believe this is the Dragonball Sparking Zero game.
Yeah.
It's really, really hot right now. I think there's a lot of people who are very, very, very anticipating this. Like, I've been seeing lots of screenshots, lots of clips everywhere. So many different versions of Goku. It don't make no sense at this point. There's so many Gokus. But yeah, this was your topic. Do you want to talk about it real quick?
Yeah, so I was learning more about the game. Something I didn't know, where the name comes from. So over in Japan, you had we had Dragon Ball Z Budokai and then Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi. Over there, they had Dragon Ball Z Budokai and Dragon Ball Z Sparking.
Yeah.
So this is the Budokai Tenkaichi style of gameplay. Well, as you mentioned, lots of Gokus. Like, they said there's like 120 characters, but like 17 of them are Goku.
Yeah.
All of his different forms. They're even using the new stuff. It's called like Dragon Ball Daima or something like that. Like brand new. They're using that in it as well. It looks great. Like, it looks fun. The action looks quick. Looks real responsive, and all that stuff looks fun. My only gripe with it is the game has 4 editions. So you got your standard edition, which just comes with the base game, the deluxe edition, which is digital only, and it comes with the base game, season pass for the first 3 DLCs, season pass bonus summon Shenron, and you get to play 3 days early. If you get the ultimate edition, base game,
like $100, ain't it?
Yeah, something like that. And it's a base game, a Goku super costume with the power pole, an emote voice set, some card backgrounds, customization items, because you can customize your character's looks. It also comes with Super Shenron and the DLC and stuff, and Shenron. And then the premium edition, which comes with all the ultimate stuff and like a diorama and some cards and a steel book and things like that. But I also think, because they keep specifically saying access to DLCs 1 through 3, I think they're going to do like Xenoverse 2, where it was more DLC after.
So that's my thing with the game. I was a little bit more quiet on it before. I'm still excited for it, but I have Xenoverse too. I remember like it was just like one of those games where they just kept releasing content, but like you know how like you could be at the point where you're sort of done with it and you wish it was there when you had like when you were playing it, but it's not necessarily something you really want to just go back to that much. I don't want it to be that type of thing for this game. So I would like to just wait a little bit and see if it's going to have like pretty much all the content on there that I want right away, cuz um in the TV show universe, I guess like they're getting ready to bring it back, right? And I can
Yeah.
imagine that it's lining up cuz I think it lined up just like that with Xenoverse where as Super was going, they were just putting people in there, right? And I have a feeling that you're gonna have more villains and more transformations, that type of thing. It's like I don't know how much more you can go with Goku. It's like you just have to create another
Well, he
gimmick and
got
then just
turned
say,
back
"Here you
into a
go."
kid again. That's what
Huh?
they, for Dragon Ball Daima, they got
Yeah,
turned back into children again.
yeah, I can
In the same way they
imagine
did for GT.
because
But
that's
that
kind
was
of yeah. You don't have nothing else you can really do, but
nope. That's the whole gimmick. So what I thought was gonna happen, honestly, was with Dragon Ball Superhero
mhm.
that they did. Which I don't know, maybe this happened in like the manga or something. It looked like it was gonna lead towards like slightly focusing more on a teenage Trunks and Goten trying to be like superheroes. So I thought they were gonna do something fused between them and the Great Saiyaman sort of like thing, where that
Mhm.
was where the focus was gonna go. So while Goku and them trained, like the superhero already showed like Piccolo and Gohan having to save the world without Goku and Vegeta there. I thought it was
Mhm.
gonna lead towards like Goten and Trunks having to save things without them there, and then eventually leading to like some fight where Goku, Vegeta, and Broly like just really whoop someone down. But I haven't seen Daima. I don't know what they're doing with that. So we'll see.
Yeah, but at least for the game, I don't want to say I'm gonna hold off a full year or nothing like that, but that's kind of what's been happening with
Yeah,
this type of DLC for it. As far as the name, I knew about the name thing. It reminds me also of Yakuza Like a Dragon, whereas it was
yeah.
just changed to simply Like a Dragon. Um, and part of me is like, I wish we had the priority over here, but I guess the priority is for Japan, which is fine. As long as we get everything, but um, that reminds me real quick. I want to mention, even though we have the PlayStation stuff coming up in a second, I did download one of the PS Plus games that they were offering currently, which was the WWE 2K24. I haven't had a chance to
Yeah,
play
yeah.
it yet, but that was one of those games where a reason why I was hesitant on that was because all the characters there were not in the base edition. And sometimes like that becomes like a turnoff when you don't get everything in the same like in one purchase, you know? When it comes to Dragon Ball Z or Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, I don't want to make $100 purchase for the game and then there's still more that's coming out. You know what I mean?
Right,
It kind of
right.
just that's the only thing that's kind of making me hold back on it. But I am still excited to see if it possibly is a game of the year. There's a lot of games that are coming out right now that are starting to have that hype. And this was one of the main ones that I think people are really, really waiting for, which is crazy to see. Because we get Dragon Ball Z games all the time, but like this one is like the
Yeah.
game that people
Well,
really
I mean,
want.
I remember the joy of playing the Budokai Tenkaichi series. They were really fun. Don't get me wrong. I like Xenoverse a lot.
Hmm.
Uh, I like, if every game is going to constantly kind of retell the story, I like the way Xenoverse did a twist of it where you're still seeing the original story, but like you have to make the original story happen versus just playing through it again. So I really liked that, but like the combat of the Budokai Tenkaichi series is amazing. So
I do kind of want to reiterate a conversation we had months ago where we talk about how companies would shut down too
uh
quickly before they get to this point. Because if you remember, before this game, they came out with a dud that was like this fake Dead by Daylight ish game, whatever it was called.
oh yeah, that what's it
Yeah,
called? with the you play as a human.
Yeah.
Basically, like the enemies are trying to get you.
Yeah, and it's like if a game like that doesn't sell, then everybody wants to just kill a franchise, right? But, like some other companies, they need to get to their sparking zero, but sometimes they got to go through those type of duds. And sparking zero is obviously going to pay for itself as well as the money spent on making that old game, right?
Oh
So,
yeah. Like
yeah,
I've said before, Witcher 3 is considered one of the greatest games of all time. Ain't nobody talk about Witcher 1 and 2.
right, right,
Right? Like it blew up by 3. Look how much
hmm,
how many editions of Skyrim came out? That
right,
was number 5. How many
right,
editions of what's the second one titled?
right,
Right? I know 5 is Skyrim, I know 4 is Oblivion. What's the subscript for the second one? How many releases did that one get?
right.
Right? So it's just it's if you have a franchise, you should plan for at least 3. Go for it. See if you can get to that stage.
Yeah. And so, yeah, this is gonna be one of the biggest games, I guess, coming out. And there's plenty other games that's coming out with it. But yeah, I'm happy to see it. I'm glad to see that Dragon Ball Z is one of those franchises that I don't think it could ever die. It's at the same time as like, what else can you do? And they keep trying to figure out a way. But even with like all the new stuff, I think just between Frieza Cell and the Buu Saga, like that's just timeless at this point. It's
Yep.
like they can make a gazillion games off of that, and they have, and it's just because sometimes when I go through emulation, it surprises me that there are games that was all the way back on like PlayStation 1, Game Boy Advance that feature Dragon Ball Z games up to the Buu Saga. And it's
Yep.
like, yo, that was really that long ago. We've gone from there till now, coming out with so many games for Dragon Ball Z, the franchise, that they've been telling the same stories over and over and over again. It's like, and that's the one thing where we don't really care, and everything else is just extra characters, and everybody's just playing. So, yeah, kudos to them. And then as we go from the highs, I gotta go to the low a little bit. It's not really too much of a low. I think this is more funny for me. But have you heard about the news with Nintendo and the Ryujinx emulator? Have you heard of this news?
No.
So Nintendo has found a way to shut down the last Switch emulator, which is the Ryujinx emulator. So if anybody is familiar, they shut down the Yuzu emulator, I think is what it was called. And the Yuzu emulator was the emulator that did the Switch, and it set Nintendo off in a blaze because people were playing Tears of the Kingdom on it, and by the time the actual Tears of the Kingdom came out, people was already like in the final stages of the pirated version and was like literally finishing it before the game even came out. And so that set them off, and it set them to a rage where they was just figuring out how to sue everybody, whoever they could. And so they did a lawsuit with them. Ryujinx is the first time I think I've ever heard of them going at this angle, but apparently they just cut them a deal behind the scenes. And when I keep hearing deal, it sounds like they sent them some money or something. And so it sounds like to me that Nintendo has paid them off, and that's how this one is being shut down. It wasn't so much that there was really any like Power World type situations like this one. This is what they did. They was just like, look, we got a deal. We don't know the details of the deal. All we know is the main people in control of this was like, okay, we'll take the payday and we'll shut it down. And that's what it sounds like. So we don't know how much, we don't know what's going on, but it doesn't sound like it was a lawsuit. It doesn't even sound, nobody's even saying it was a cease and desist or anything. It was just they made a deal. It's what was said. And I'm just like, I don't know what's happening with it, but Nintendo's been on the rampage. There's no new information with the Power World situation right now, but the main thing I just want to say is for all the Nintendo diehard fans, please make sure, just like what I said before, if anybody listened, please make sure you send them Amazon links so we can get them to cease and desist Amazon. I dare them. I still want them to do it. Send them every NES looking 500, 801 games, system or something. Send them all of them emulation hard drives. They got Switch games on it. Send them all them Amazon links and tell them to tell Jeff Bezos, how you say it? Tell him to hand over the rights of Amazon. I dare you. Please. I really want to see it. I want to see this happen. I'm sick of seeing it with the little guy, this person, that person. Apparently some of the main channels that promote and use these emulator devices that I've been buying recently, the Mayu Mini, the Ambernick devices, apparently Nintendo is fully aware, and they have been going after channels and trying to get channels taken down, whoever showed the devices with the any Nintendo games on it, basically. And they're trying to go after channels that are teaching people how to do emulation. That's a thing that's happening currently. So I don't like that part at all. But that's no different than when they were bad at people showing off the Wii U game, the Wii U version of Breath of the Wild on PC. All I'm saying is, okay, I get this is all the things that they've been doing, but please send them all them Amazon links so they can cease and desist Amazon. I'm still waiting for the cease and desist of Amazon. You think they're gonna do it? Are they gonna do it? Please do it. I want to see that one. I'm not worried about them trying to go after every YouTuber doing these emulation devices. I really would be upset if they found a way to try to attack the emulator, like the people creating the devices, because it's like they're just creating a device, which is just a device where all you do is you put a game on there from the SD card. It's not even really their fault, but Nintendo has been finding ways to attack all these people and stuff. Nobody is able to challenge them because they don't have Amazon money. But Amazon has been free and clear posting all types of stuff. Now, I know it's not really Jeff Bezos, but if we're going to take it like literally, like how we've done with everybody else, Jeff Bezos should not be no different than Doug Bowser, right? So if you're attacking the creator of certain websites and the creator of channels, then please attack Amazon. That's all I got to say. Anything you got? Any comments on this this news that I just told you about?
No, Nintendo just gonna keep being Nintendo.
Yeah. I do want to mention they did have a game that came out that I think we kind of brushed over. So it was the Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, the game where you actually play as Zelda. Pretty positive reception from what I've seen. I do plan on getting it at some point. I'm not going to get it immediately, but yeah, that has come out. Is a positive game for them. I think next month is when they come out with their Mario and Luigi Superstars game. I think it's what's called, the Mario Brothers Superstars.
Yeah.
However you say it. That one's their next game, and then at some point next year we get to see their hardware. I still want them to please come out with some hard. I feel like I'm just like I'm wasting my breath though, but we've seen some of these screenshots and stuff. I hope that hardware can do it. I hope that was like a decoy or something. If it can't, like, please come out with some hardware that's like catching up. I don't want them to be like, oh, we're officially in the last generation's hardware space. Like, no, catch up. Please catch up. Close the gap. Especially if you're talking about the difference in price being like maybe $100 more. because I don't want them to charge $500 and then they're charging for a $500 device that's equivalent to a base PS4. It's like no, not in 2025 or something. No. Anyways,
Oh, I will say this:
yeah,
Nintendo didn't have a direct in September. That's the first time in like 8 years.
that's interesting because I think I
Or
did see
September, not
some
November.
YouTube channels that was mainly Nintendo channels that was like anticipating it and it just didn't happen.
Because they've done one since Switch came out.
That's
2016.
strange too because usually they would do something to just simply say these are our games for the holiday season, but I guess they didn't really want to do that. But the Zelda game came out, the Mario and Luigi game is set to come out next month, so at least you still have that if you are looking for something to play on that system. Anything else to say about Nintendo before we move past Nintendo?
Uh,
All right, PlayStation. I have not been paying attention. Maybe you could tell me. Have you been on the PlayStation Network this past week?
yeah, I
All
was
right,
just on there like an hour ago.
because I've been busy with some other stuff this week that I haven't had too much time to pay attention. But apparently, the PlayStation Network went down at some point for quite amount of time to make the internet go crazy on Twitch. I remember, not Twitch,
Yeah.
X, Twitter. You know any information on this, or were you experiencing
No,
this?
I didn't experience it because it was the middle of the day. I was at work. Uh, so everybody was going crazy because it was down. By the time I got home, I logged on and I was fine. So
Yeah, it's kind of funny because I remember going into this thinking that like for a second I was like, well, some of y'all was at work, but I don't want to judge because we don't know everybody's work schedule. But we do know the crazies do be sometimes, figuring out a way to just not go to work and just play the game all day, every day, or at least play Twitter Space all day, every day. But yeah, that was something that had
but
happened. It was down for enough time to really cause a lot of people to be angry, at least for one day, at least.
yeah.
Um,
But why some people are getting upset, which is a great point, is the fact that like you can't play single player games
right.
because everything constantly requires you to be online all the time. So like you have to really go back to your catalog and look for something that has offline mode.
Yeah, and so Helldivers is on the screen. This is your footage. This is one of those games where it's online, right? It's not a single player
Yes,
ish game. It's all
correct.
online. And so this would be an example of a game that would just not work. While
Yep.
you still pay. And how much is it for this PS Plus now for just the base one?
Oh, it was like 60 a year, 70 a year, 70.
Yeah, I think they the base. So is it essential? Is it called essential? I
Yeah,
think
it was 70 or 80, 79.99.
it's yeah, it's 80 now. Um, Now one day ain't that bad, but like one day is
It
bad
was
if
for a
that was your
couple
off
hours.
day. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
but even
yeah,
this is a co-op game, right? Like essentially, so you have to be online, because other people could drop in and all that other stuff. But
yeah,
there are some legit games there is no multiplayer. It is a purely single player game, and it's like, no, you gotta be online though.
yeah. So it's pretty strange. I still have an issue with the fact that for Persona 4 Golden, and this is the Steam version, it still has the online check. I think they call it de novo or de
Yeah,
novo or
things like
something.
that.
And it's like that game, that's a 2012 or 2013 game, right? It's like, do I really need to check online for that? It's a single player game, and there's no battle, there's no nothing. It's just purely single. But if I don't check in with the internet at least once out the week, it will not turn on. It will refuse to turn on. Um,
Which is that stuff. That's just stupid.
right, and the
Um,
game is like it normally retails for 19.99, and I got it for 12.99 when I got it, and it's like, let me play my game, like let me
eh.
play my game, right?
Well, that used to
Yeah,
be one of the things we checked. whenever I tried out a new single player game, is can you play it offline? Like that was the whole thing. And there's so many games where you just can't. So I can see why people are upset if like the network's down. But yeah, I didn't experience it, luckily.
Yeah, so that was like that was one of the things, and I do want to apologize to the people because I had a lot going on that I did not make the solo video that I wanted to make as a follow up to the next topic that's still within this topic, but this topic is mainly around the PS5 Pro. And this is so funny to me because we are fresh off the heels of the release-ish, if you want to call that a release, of their 30th edition thing. And the 30th edition thing was like, what was it, like 12,300 units or something like that. Yep. So they kind of wasted everybody's time. And so, of course, it was going to sell out. And, of course, pretty much nobody who wanted it actually got it, right? And it ended up being scalped. And it was like a $4,000 peak, what it was going at some point. Probably even more than that for that bundle. But you fast forward to just about a week later when the official one, the pre-orders go out, and it seems like nobody wants to touch it. And it's funny because I think even now updated it's still not sold out. It has not been sold out. And I find that to be interesting because I think this might be the first time that the mid-gen just did not sell out. It's within its first batch and nobody wants it. Quite literally, you can just get on your phone or go and get it right now. And what's funny is they set it up where they made you jump through hoops to get it. So you would have to be like there were certain conditions you had to meet just to get it. And I don't think people are even worried about that. I don't think that they care because even with like
nobody wanted that. They wanted the 30th anniversary edition because of the design.
Yeah, it looked really nice. I
don't think anyone really wanted a Pro. Like, there's so many people who said they saw the Pro, saw the price, and said, "I'll just get a PC instead," because they're already now hitting those type of prices. And the Pro isn't really, let's be honest, it's not going to do much better. Like, they keep touting all this stuff, but they touted all that stuff for the regular PlayStation 2. So, like, PlayStation 5 as well. So,
yeah, it's a very niche crowd that's going to want this thing. And, officially is going to get, masked by the actual PS5 sales because they kind of bundle them together. We found out that even with the PlayStation Portal, is it called Portal or Portable? Whatever it's called. They count those as PS5 sales too, apparently. They don't even count them on their own. And so it's like, well, they'll hide this very well, but in real life, it don't seem like anybody's really wanting it. It'll be very interesting to see, like, once it released, how many units were actually sold for it specifically. But yeah, that price range is egregious. And what's crazy is that right after we had the scalper situation with the regular PS5, well, not regular, but the 30th edition one, even the scalpers hasn't touched this. Like, the scalpers did not jump on this immediately to buy it out. That's the part that's crazy. Like, it's not something that's like being seen on eBay like that. It's like, this thing is not hot. It's not hot right now. And it's their fault. I mean, it's their fault. They created this thing and set the price the way it was. The smartest thing they could have done was lower the price of the base PS5 to the point where they undercut their competition so bad that they would just like own the market and made the Pro like 500 or 550 or something like that. Where it's like, it's still like, as long as that first number is the 5, even if it was $599, I think people would have been more acceptable with it. But 7, boy, 7 with no stand. That's the thing too, is like the stand is still, I find that part to be so disrespectful. Like, if somebody does an unboxing It's like, please show that there's still enough room to put that stand in the regular box, because I'm pretty sure it is. I'm pretty sure because the original box was so big, and the stand was so minuscule. You know, like
Yeah.
it was just this big giant box that was so egregious, and the stand didn't take up no space at all. I'm pretty sure that $30, that's a $30 stand just to screw in on the bottom. It's like, I know that thing could fit in a regular PlayStation 5 Pro or Slim's box, but they just won't sell it with it. That's crazy to me. That part just comes off very disrespectful to the fans, and I guess the fans have spoken, because this thing doesn't look like it's going to be under a lot of people's Christmas trees or any of that. Yeah, how many units do you think this thing is going to sell?
No idea.
Hypothetically.
I don't see it selling a lot, like at all.
Yeah.
Just I don't think a lot of people want it. Like the people who want it are like collectors who like collect all the systems. You know?
Yeah. I could see that, because I remember seeing like channels that I follow where they do like game room tours.
Yeah.
They would have like the N64 in like every color, and it's just like it's the N64. Like the first or second one is good enough, but you just have it in every color just because.
Yep.
The one thing about it that I don't like, which might seem petty to somebody, is just imagine you, like, if you notice with the PS5 initially when it first came out, the main thing people wanted was to have black plates, right?
Uh-huh.
The black one more than anything, but they wanted the plates to be customizable, but they wished that it launched black, because all the other systems was black and it just looked better as black, right?
Yeah.
By the time they got the black plates out there, where it was the official black plates and some of the other colors, then they introduced the Slim, right? The Slim without the disk drive and the Slim with the disk drive. All of a sudden, now we're back to the black and white, or the white and black, right? And it's like, you just got this, you just got the plates. And it's like, okay, for somebody, it's like, okay, I'll get this. And they finally gets you some plates with it too, right? And then all of a sudden, here's the Pro, and we're back to the regular plates again. That, like, it might seem petty, but to me, like, in my head, it's like, if I really don't want that color system, because remember too, like, every time you get that system, you also get that white and black controller. Like, I feel like they also would have benefited if they came out with different versions of them from day one, where it's like, here's the different plate and here's the controller to match. But you starting off
that
like,
would require them to put it in the store too.
yeah, and actually put some effort into it. But like, if you're buying the base model, like, how you would have had the same controller each time, and it's just the base white and black controllers, like, you wouldn't want to keep buying that, you know? If it was just like, okay, this one comes in red and black, or blue and black, or some of those other colors with the plates and the controllers, it's like, that makes sense. And what's annoying too is like, this is only really being sold from PlayStation's store directly from their website and stuff. And it's like, if you're doing it directly from there, you should be able to choose the color plate and color controller, and they send you that package.
Yep.
But they didn't do that. And I'm just like, well, like, for me, like, that alone also is a little bit like, you're not really helping the consumer. It's not about the consumer, basically. You know, if you were somebody who really can, like, if you really collected all the systems, you basically bought like 3 white controllers. You know, exact same controllers, like no different. And 3 white systems, and you didn't get to really choose. You had to, everything else was extra. And I think that might be one of the biggest things that's a turnoff for a lot of people. It is what it is, but yeah, I don't think I will ever get it.
Me neither. But in other news, Japan is trying to find a way to fight scalpers. So what they're doing is, if you go to order the PS5 30th anniversary edition, you have to log in with your PlayStation Network account, and you have to show that you have at least 30 hours of gameplay between the PS4 and PS5 in
Yeah,
order to get it.
that was
So
one
on
of the
top of that, this
things.
can't be your first system either. Like if you were like, I didn't get the PS4 or PS5,
Hmm.
right? I was like a PS3 person, and then now you want the Pro special edition one, you don't get to get one.
I find that to be a little odd though, because in my head I was thinking like there technically are people out there that this probably would have been their first system ever, but you
Could have
kind of
been,
just alienated them a little bit. Like
but
it sucks that because you got to do that because of a scalper, but it's like,
that's the thing. It's the other option, which honestly I don't know why they would do it. The only other option
hmm,
is just put it in the store,
yeah, that's really it.
and the scalpers can't show up there and be like, I ordered 15,000 of them, right? Like, or give me 120 of the systems to walk out with. Like they can't. You got to buy one at a time. Uh, so that's the only other option is put it in the store. They won't do it.
Yeah, that's really strange too because it's like some of this stuff is like a really easy fix. I like to really just take the easiest solution that we can have, and I would assume this is an easy solution because if you're gonna have a store, you're gonna have a product in the store. It just makes sense. It's like if the only way it would make sense for this to not be in the store is if you closed down the whole store. But somehow we're keeping the stores open because if you notice with like a lot of products that are not in the stores, we're slowly taking stuff out the store, but the store stays open. And it's just like it's there, and they're just junk there that you don't care about at all. They're taking out reasons for you to even go in there. But the cool stuff is like all starting to leave, and it's just like if you expect people to buy certain things and you want them to, and you want the cross sell with other products, you got to draw them in to begin with. And
For me, it's
it,
just if scalpers are an issue, and there's one very easy solution to stop scalpers, and everything else is something overly complicated. Just do the easy solution to stop scalpers. Send them back to the store. Like I don't know. Whenever there was special editions of the PS3, the PS2, the halfway point for any of those systems, what did they do? They sold them in the store, so people showed up to
yeah,
GameStop and bought it. You can just do that now. Like there's no reason to not do that. It gets rid of the scalpers.
there a big issue that I had at one point in a store though is the situation with like I'll mention it was Walmart with one particular thing that I was trying to buy at one point where I think if I bought something online it would have been $10 less, but because I was in the store it was $10 more, but the worker refused to price match it, and she was just like, this is the price if you buy it online. And I'm like, so literally, if I hit buy on my phone, y'all gonna go get it and put it all the way over on the side. And then I get it after you send me the message saying it's available. Or you
Yep.
could just ring it up right now. So that's another issue right now when it comes to the stores and stuff. There's this push for online.
Not
And
only
it's like,
that, their apps. There's so many things
yeah,
where like if you order it through our specific app, you get this, or you can only get this item if you order it through the app.
yeah. And there's just this push for that when it's not gonna brainwash me. It's almost like how they want you to watch like 1,000 ads or something. It's like if you're aware, that doesn't make you buy the product. That doesn't make you addicted to the app. I don't know what $1 billion that you pay to some company to tell you that, but that's not how that works. Like you would just not. You would go to whoever's gonna give you the product the way you want it. That's how it's gonna happen. You're not gonna do that, but um to tie it back into everything with gaming and everything, I remember at the very beginning of this year, they were telling us things like they're not gonna put certain games and stuff in the store anymore and stuff. It's really just gonna be their detriment at the end of the day. And I think once you get to the point where certain items are only being sold online, I really do think that a lot of the gaming division is going to have the same situation as this PS5 Pro. where it's just going to sit there. We're going to see that with games where they're going to sit there and they're just not going to sell. And it is what it is. Like when we get to the point where they really try to bust out this, like, here's a system, no disc, and you can only get it through our like PSN store or something, and there's like no real sales no more, and the games are like always over $40-$50, they go sit there. Those games is not gonna get played. Yep. It's just gonna sit there. It's gonna be kind of funny to see. And we're gonna really start. You thought you was gonna hear about layoffs before. Man, half the industry gonna be gone at that point. So they better cooperate while they can. Right now they're not cooperating, and this is what's gonna happen when you do that. Yeah. One last thing I did want to mention as far as PlayStation, it doesn't have to be a big topic. There was just something that I saw that people were saying with the last PS5 update. Apparently people were reporting, and I would like to see if you can give me information on this, but people were reporting that with the new UI and the not desktop, but the background and stuff, they were starting to see like ads on the actual like PS5.
I heard about that. I did not get an ad. But there was actually the developers even said something where they're basically like, our fault, that wasn't supposed to happen. Or something, like there was like some update that the ads happened and they're like, oh, our fault, like that wasn't supposed to be a
you think they was testing the waters? You think they
absolutely
they trying to see what was going to happen? Because it lines up, because it's like they were trying to, they trying to get their money back in all different ways.
Which now the reason why it was stupid to do it now is because before the what's new screen you couldn't control, right? So if they started throwing ads in there, it's just under what's new. But with the new UI, you customize the opening screen, so it's very noticeable if something that you didn't put there is there. So like if you didn't put ads for this thing, like, and it's just randomly popping up on your opening screen, you're gonna notice it because you edit what's there. So that was the dumb time to start trying to advertise that, but force that in there. But they did. But yeah, I saw it about that. When I logged on, I didn't have any.
Yeah, I didn't see anything when I logged on either, but I do think that would be crazy if they did try to do that, because at some point I think the companies are going to try it. It's just I think what's going to happen as a result, because here's the nightmare that I think is going to happen. The next generation is going to be all digital, and they're going to first just announce to you there's no more game share. I swear you, I think that's going to happen. I think that's going to be a similar situation to the Netflix thing, where initially you'll see people drop off. But then I also think that on top of that, that's when you're going to see ads in the place of loading screens. And like, how we were promised there will be no more loading screens. I feel like the loading screens are just going to be returning, but it's going to have ads there. And I think that's going to be really more of a console thing. And on the PC side, because for some reason the PC side, you don't see as much egregious stuff going on. You just get the
because the moment it happens, somebody will mod it out.
Yeah, they'll mod it out. Away. They'll mod it. They'll pirate it. They're already at the very beginning going to a CD keys type website just to get it on a discount anyway.
Real quick, I saw some arguments where people were saying like, when people were saying, why would I get the PS5 Pro if I could just go get a PC at that point? And they're like, they're both digital. What's the point?
Yeah.
Here's the thing. There's actually a law going on in England where like the stores are going to have to start putting whether you own it or whether it's licensed.
I saw that too. Yeah.
So it's just like, and a lot of the PlayStation like it's licensed, because if they lose the contract, they can just take it away, which a lot of things have. Which GOG, right away, as soon as they saw it, was like, hey, guess what? Anything you buy on here is yours. We can't take it back. Like, it is yours. You download it. It is yours.
Yeah.
But I think that's a part of the thing. if you have to choose between a PC or a PlayStation, again, as we mentioned before, we always said people were going to stick with the console because of convenience, right? When you're saying drop almost double the price of a console to get all this stuff, but you have to manually set it up, well, you're going to go with the convenient route. But once the prices start kind of hitting the same,
Yeah.
then you're like, well, no, let me go ahead and maybe set this new thing up. Right? And then when you go to set it up, now you got old emulators, so you get access to all the old games that they just
Mm-hmm.
won't sell you anymore. Uh, you getting new games $10 cheaper. Steam always got a sale going on. You get
Yeah.
access to games that don't even get to come to console, while console is slowly putting, like Xbox, almost everything going Xbox goes to PC. PlayStation starting to put things on PC, and PC has its own exclusives because indie games go to PC because they don't get to go to console for some of them. Uh, you're getting all of this stuff to where PC is just starting to look better. And then now they're also like, well, I want a physical collection. Well, now the consoles are like, no more physical collections. So why should I stay?
Yeah. There might be a slight exception for Nintendo. It seems Nintendo is still in their own lane a little bit. They're
True.
fighting tooth and nail to try to preserve their IP how they want it to be. But even in the market, if you consolidate down, a PC and a Switch doesn't sound like a bad combination for you. But yeah, you might not have certain games immediately, but you better believe those games are still coming to your system. Even with situations like Horizon Zero Dawn, where it's going to come to your system 2 times over, it's like, uh, that's the last thing I want to mention on PlayStation before we move past it. Did you hear about like the Horizon Zero Dawn of the base version? Like they increased the price, like so that
Yeah.
people are people won't like try to just grab that one. They're trying to like make it to where this is like on the digital storefront too, which also makes the disc-based versions of these games so much more valuable because the $10 upgrade is still a $10 upgrade based off of you buying the old version, and that game was as low as $10 all the time, right? And it was like that. You can go and get a used copy from off of like a place like not only eBay but in stores like GameStop, right? Wherever you can find it. Throw it in the system and then do the $10 upgrade, and now you've got the brand new, you know, PS5 version. They're trying to combat that a little bit right now, and apparently it's rumored that that version might be delisted going forward. And you can only get the newer version. And these are the things that like really make physical collections so much more important and valuable, because that in itself is just a money grab, right? That's just a money thing. We already knew that. We knew that with the Last of Us one. But they're doing it anyway, and at the same time they're covering their tracks. They're saying, well, even though we like I think the $10 upgrade thing was initially a PR thing, because they probably knew they couldn't charge $70 for a graphics update, where they kind of did that with The Last of Us Part 1 in a way. I feel like they know what they're doing and they're just doing it anyway because they can. And this is another situation like that. I do still believe the Days Gone rumor is true, and that the Days Gone thing is probably going to follow suit, which is even more crazy because Days Gone's biggest fan base is already on PC, and you're already telling us we're not getting a sequel, but you'll do a graphics update and then sell it again on PC. I do think that's gonna happen. It's probably gonna happen sometime next year. But what's your thoughts on the Horizon Zero Dawn thing? It's not official yet, but we're seeing some changes online. But what do you think?
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like there's too many games where they look so great now.
Yeah.
Stop trying to constantly upgrade it. And then definitely this, they knew that people was like, oh, I can just go get the original and upgrade it. It's like, nah, now it's gonna cost more. Like
Yeah.
that's trash. Again, it's anti-consumer.
It's
It's like
very
I don't know. In my head
anti-consumer.
sometimes it's like you were making moves like you're broke. That is weird.
Yeah, it really does look that way. It really does look that way. We don't know their financials, but they have been bleeding money for a while, but they've now decided, I guess, instead of trying to grow the fan base, we're perfectly accepting the PS4's fan base as our peak, and we're just going to keep charging that fan base. That's what I think it is. Like, I don't think that they think they can go to from like 100 million copies sold to 200 million copies sold. I don't think that they think that's possible. I think they think that's not. I think 100 million is the peak for gaming. It would never go past that. Um, I don't believe it myself. I feel like it should go past it if you give a good product. But I think they can't give a good product, and they just gotta like just do what they could do right now. That's it, and just hope for the best. That's what I think is happening. Which is silly, but yeah, that's the world we live in. Tell me real quick, because the game is on the screen. Just give the game his flowers before the footage is over. Astro
Game
Bot,
of the year.
game of the year.
uh, Not really. I don't think it'll be game of the year.
It could be in a contender spot for sure.
Yeah.
But
The
what would beat it?
platforming is really fun. So the first level that you saw me do that I beat, after like 4 tries, that was day number 2 of me trying it. I failed like 10
Okay.
times before that. So, like, there's certain levels where it's just, oh, this is easy, blah, 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 as you go through. Then you got these other levels where it's like, hold on, like, here's the challenge now.
Mm-hmm.
And some of those challenge levels, if you, like, lose, you have to restart from the beginning. Where the rest of the levels have checkpoints.
Mm-hmm.
But the game is really fun. There's so many hidden levels and so many secret, like, areas to go to. One of my favorite things is a lot of different levels, as you see, is like different gimmicks
Yeah.
going on. Like this one has broken floors.
Right.
So different gimmicks going on, but none of the gimmicks overstay their welcome. So it's not like
Mm-hmm.
you're doing 5 levels in a row where there's constantly breaking floors and you're just sick of it.
Mm-hmm.
So like that ball rolling one, I've gone through. I think I'm on my 4th planet now, like area, and I've maybe had the rolling ball one 3 times out of the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
So like each area has like 8 levels and everything. So pretty much out of like 25 levels, I was on the rolling ball 3 times.
Okay.
Right. So like nothing overstays its welcome. It's so nice. Uh, it's just real cool to see. Uh, One thing that it does do though, and it kind of ties in with this Horizon stuff, is you start to see how many like IPs there are. Where there are some characters that I don't even recognize
Right.
on here, and then it's like, well, why ain't you doing something with these, right? Like, why am I getting
Mm-hmm.
Horizon Zero Dawn again, or Last of Us again? Where like, give me another, I don't know, Ape Escape, or
It's a
like
little weird too because I don't
Bloodborne.
know how much of a like they don't have too much of an excuse where they couldn't have made a great game with the formula that they had because the Concord game is a very expensive game to like really like throw it away that fast, right? I didn't really have that much of a chance and
Yeah,
to hear it was
like,
400 million, like I feel like you could have had 2 games at 200 million each
yep.
and it could have been a lot
I honestly
better.
feel like a short campaign would have saved Concord. Like as much as like it was clearly Guardians of the Galaxy,
Mhm.
I would have played it for the whole Guardians of the Galaxy dynamic with the characters. I don't want to play a team hero shooter where there's some cutscenes coming out every couple weeks. Like that doesn't appeal to me. And there's already enough I feel like team shooters out there that that's not going to appeal to them. They're not like the people who are playing these like online shooters. They're not looking for a new shooter, right? Like once a platform player finishes the game, we're looking for a new platforming game, right? We're
Yeah.
looking for RPG. People are looking for a new RPG. a lot of the shooter people, they're not looking for a new shooter.
Yeah.
Game. So it's like I feel like they marketed towards the wrong people, especially for having to spend that much money. But when you like play through this, and you just see all of these characters, and you start to think like, yeah, why isn't there a Bloodborne 2? Like, and you start to remember how popular some of these were, like really were, and it's just like, where's that at? Almost in the same similar way when we talked about how like Nintendo will have like Zelda, Mario, Pokemon, Zelda, Mario, Pokemon, Zelda, Mario, Pokemon. Then they release Smash Bros. And it's like, well, yeah, where's the Captain Falcon game?
Yeah.
Right? Like, where's the NES game? Where's the, like, all of these other ones? You just don't do them. And they just sit in Smash Bros. And it feels like these characters are just sitting in Astro Bot, unfortunately.
I think they need to really start to put out some AA linear, definitive start and finish games. You know, $50 million budgets. Because I would have rather have four $50 million budget linear games than that one. You know, like.
Yeah. Did you hear what Concord got canceled?
No.
There was going to be an infamous prototype crossover, apparently. Which was like two of the big, like, especially at the time when it came out, superheroes are still at their height. And this is like two of the popular superhero games that aren't tied to Marvel DC. And they were going to have a crossover, and it's like, nah, canceled because everybody got to work on Concord.
Yeah, it's just kind of, it doesn't add up to me because at one point, like in the PS3 era, these games were not costing that much. But they still were able to come out with a lot. And the games are still good. There's a lot of games from that time frame that people are still asking for sequels from. And it's just kind of like, well, if you didn't want to spend a certain amount of money, unless it was on a franchise like a Wolverine or a Spider-Man, that kind of makes sense until you have a situation like the Concord situation. And it's just like, well, why didn't you just make the type of game that the fans would have wanted? Why would you make... It's no different than the Suicide Squad thing. Like, why did you make a Fortnite? Yep. Like, why would you do that? Like, that, it just, like, but why, though? Like, it really... You know, like, somebody would tell you you're an armchair analyst, you don't know what you're talking about. But it's just like, well, what we've been saying was what I think a lot of people were saying. Like, why would you not put a game in a store? Why would you not put the stand in the same package as the system? Right? Like, certain things is just like, well, this would have made a lot of sense. It's like, you know, we'll try to nickel and dime the one person instead of making it a attractive product for everybody. Because I feel like if the PS5 Pro would have been all in one package with the disc drive, with the stand, more people would be wanting to buy it. Even at a $700 price. Now, the $700 price was also just the last straw. But I think it would have been a little bit more attractive if everything was in one purchase. Even with the earliest conversation with like Dragon Ball Z Sparking Zero, where I'm hesitant because it's not... I don't think everything is all in one purchase, right? I think a lot of people are hesitant on a lot of games when the thing that you buy is not all in one purchase. And the push for live service games basically echo that. Like, it's just not going to be a definitive purchase. By the time you finish, the cool part comes out. And it's like, well, now I'm not even enjoying it at its best and everything. And that's what the industry is. This is the industry, I guess. Yeah. All right. Let's switch
real
gears
quick
for
too.
a second.
Helldivers was also really, really fun.
Yeah.
Because I was on earlier. Lots of bug shooting. I think really responsive controls. I died a bunch of times that last time, but it's a very fun game, especially if you're playing with friends.
Yeah. I was gonna say something about it. I was like, that was on there for a while, but just didn't mention it. But Yeah, that was another game from the earliest part of this year where
Yeah,
I
I would
think
put that still also in a game of the year category. Like I feel like there's enough going on. The microtransactions, there are the rewards. They're a little grindy, but they want you, of course, pay for it instead. But I don't feel like I have to. So far, for like a lot of the stuff, I don't feel like I have to pay. So I'm enjoying it. I'm having fun. It's a fun game.
yeah. You know what's funny? I just thought of something that echoes like what I've been talking about the purchase and everything. So, here's a great example that's like not really gaming but still gaming in a way, right? Um this past summer, I was like doing a lot of crab boils, right? And it's like, what are you talking about? Like, hear me out. I wanted to like, the Alaskan king crab leg, and how like when you see it in on the internet or anybody showing it off, it's like this really big thick crab leg, right? And you crack it open, it's just this big long arm of just crab meat, right?
I'm allergic to
That
shellfish. Take your word for it.
that's not it's not ready and available everywhere where we are currently located, right? But I was doing crab legs during the summertime because for me that's the time to do it. I did crab boils so much, right? But I was not fully satisfied because I couldn't find the shrimp that is called either tiger shrimp or gulf shrimp. I think it's tiger shrimp. That's like super big. And it was like I wanted that with it because of just the aesthetic, and that is just a part of the boil. I was able to find like snow crab legs, regular king crab legs, and like regular shrimp, that type of thing, lobster tail, all of that. But could not find that, right? And I felt like I didn't get the best of the boil, right? Because I didn't have it at the time of the purchase when I was eating it. Food was still great. Everything else was still great. I still enjoyed it. But I just felt like it just wasn't the best. And then finally, at some point, I did find it when I was like pretty much done with eating crab legs, right? Just for the shrimp. And just recently, I want to say about 3 weeks ago, at this point I'm long done with it. Like I stopped doing crab boils like late July. Do you know the Kettleman's? I'll just say it because I can't think of another. Kettleman's, the place where I go and get like there's Kettleman's everywhere. It's not just in our state. Kettleman's where I go and get like all the steaks and stuff. Do you know these boys bust out with the Alaskan king crab leg? The one thing that I couldn't get in the crab boil is so expensive as it is. But when I was buying that, as expensive as it was, and doing it, I couldn't find it. Nobody else had it around here. The second I was crab boiled out, that's when they bring that bad boy out there. It's like, oh, we have it now. And it's like, I'm done now. I don't even want to do it. I did it like 8 times over the whole summer from like May to July and spent way too much money. And then you finally bring it out. And it's like, I don't even have a taste for it no more. I don't even want it. And I don't even know how long you're going to have it, but it's kind of done. It's like if I did buy one, it would just be in the freezer because I don't even want to buy all of that and go through all that no more. And I bought also the utensils online at one point that you would use to like crack it open and all that other stuff. And had that whole experience, but it wasn't all in one at the same time. Something was missing each time. Like at one point, I didn't have the big lobster tail. I finally got the big lobster tail. I couldn't find the big shrimp. Finally got the big shrimp. I actually never got the big crab legs. The Alaskan king crab leg. That's like the size of like a forearm almost. Because I couldn't find it. Now they have it. Like now. And I feel like that's the kind of energy that we have in gaming a little bit, where it's just like, well, the purchase isn't your main purchase. When you're trying to enjoy it at its best, you can't, right? Because something's missing. And then by the time you're done with it, like the other person gets it because, they put it out then. And it's like, well, I didn't get to experience this right now, right? I don't think we're going to get to the footage in this recording, but Marvel Avengers is at the very end of this, and like by the time I got to it, all the suits and all the power-ups, all the finisher moves was unlocked for me. But you bought the game right away, right? When they were trying to sell it to you.
Yep.
And it's like you didn't get the full experience. You didn't get to enjoy it when it was at its peak. Right? So it wasn't fair to you, but you know, that's all I want to mention. That's where gaming is right now. We're running a little late. Somehow we always do that, right? Let me just go ahead and let me talk about the middle of the road thing, which is where I give props to the one place that is still giving us freebies. We got to milk it while we can before they come to their senses. And that is Epic Games, our unofficial sponsor. Still giving out freebies out here. All you got to do is create a profile. You don't need to have a PC yet, but once you do get one, you can log in and you have all these different games that you can play, right? Been saying that forever, but right now they are giving away the game Bear and Breakfast. Don't know too much about it, but I saw the rating that said it's like more of a comic book mischief kind of thing.
Okay.
Pretty like if you're somebody who's into like devious behavior, this might be one of your games. For everybody else, hey, free is free. And then next week they'll be back to the two games being released for the week, right? But let me mention real quick, Bear and Breakfast is available from now to October 10th. From October 10th to October 17th, one of the games is called Empyrean Galactic Survivor. I don't know much about it. I don't know if it's like a Starfield-ish kind of game. But yeah, Empyrean Galactic Survival. Go check it out. It's free. It will be available next week. And then the next one is called Outliver Tribulation. That one sounds a little religious-ish. I don't know. But both of those are going to be available from October 10th to October 17th. I don't really got too many sales to report. All I gotta say is just, you know, if you saved your money until this point, October is very lit, very, very, very hot right now. Yeah, any type of you know, sale or anything you want to tell the people, anything you've been
Steam
playing.
is doing the sale.
Who's doing the sale?
Like indie like monster catcher and platformer games. I think platformer.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure a lot of people, you know, you wish lists on Steam all the time. Steam does a very good job of just sending out emails to you like,
Yeah.
hey, this is like cheap now. There's been plenty of times where if something was just under $5, I don't even hesitate. I just grab it, because if I put it on the wish list, I know I wanted it. And if it's under $5, I don't really you know, I don't really notice the loss, you know. It doesn't set me back like that. And I usually do at least one or two of them a month for sure. And it's a lot of the indie side scroller type games that I've been promoting. Yeah, so, you know, keep wishlisting on Steam for a lot of those games. Keep wishlisting on Epic. And Epic keeps giving you free games, so keep taking them. Definitely have your profile ready, because in about a month and a half, 2 months, we'll be heading straight into December time, where they give out a game every day instead of once a week. It'll be like 20 plus games, and it will have at least 2 AAAs up in that bad boy. So definitely be prepared for that. I think we can move forward. I do want to mention my Xbox topic was very small. So I'll just mention it now. For the Xbox topic, I just wanted to say they finally, they got some Final Fantasy games to hit their platform. The deal, whatever they got going on with Square Enix. I remember saying initially this means hell froze over because Square Enix is doing some deals with Xbox. It's still not the main stuff. Like, it's definitely still not not Resident. Uh, it's still not Final Fantasy VII, but I think they got the Pixel Collection over there, which was the first 6 Final Fantasy games. They have that in a collection, and that's finally hitting their platform. Anybody who's been paying attention to the emulation scene, you probably have all of those. If you've been doing what I've been doing, but yeah, I think that collection, I think, was the first collection that they charged like over $70 for. Initially, I think it was like 75 or something, or 79.99, which was crazy, but it was still, 6 games, but they were all from the past. But yeah, Xbox got that. The other Xbox news that was probably a little bit more down, I guess, that I'll mention right here as well. Xbox, Starfield's DLC came out and it had like very mixed reviews. So I mean, it's still competing right now with like full blown games, but I guess the DLC people weren't really feeling. Yeah, so yeah, which is unfortunate, but at this point, I mean, I think Starfield is still going to be that game where it is the modder's dream paradise if they really want to like do something with all those planets and stuff. So we'll see that game definitely transform over time, but right now it's still, in its earliest stages, but that's an ongoing game. Basically, that's going to keep going basically because of the community. Whoever's like really into space and stuff, which is pretty much everybody. But yeah, I think that's it from my other news. Let's talk about your other topic real quick before we close out with mine. It's not Age Dragon, it's Dragon Age. Tell me about the controversy. You said there's a controversy. I need to know, what is the controversy with Dragon Age?
So there's 2.
Okay.
One, we kind of mentioned before, they're not really carrying over like previous progress. They're really trying to make it friendly for new players. So what's going to end up happening is they're just going to kind of ask you to make a decision between these 4 things, and that'll shape your world. So it's things that would have happened throughout Dragon Age Inquisition and the Trespasser DLC that rather than just reading what you did, is going to be like, nah, you got to like just tell us what you did real quick. But people are like, there's a bunch of other decisions that I've made throughout this game that are not factored in, which I think either means it's not even going to be addressed in the game, or the way they wrote the script, they're hoping you just did one decision, and whatever else was a different decision is just not canon now.
Yeah, that kind of sucks too, because the thought process behind that is we don't want to alienate nobody because we don't want to hinder our sales.
Yeah, which I don't think they would have. Like, I feel like have the decisions for people who did play previous, and then let it play out based off of what other people did. Because apparently there was a spike in people playing Inquisition to get ready for Veilguard, which is crazy because Veilguard has like different controls, plays differently, and it's not even going to factor in these decisions that people are making. So there was that. Wow. Now, the other controversy, it has to do with the character creator. So you can make a character as masculine or as androgynous as you want. They put a lot into this character creator where you can do almost anything that you want, which is real cool representation, except making them overtly, let's call it anime feminine. So people showed that like if you max out certain sliders for the like, again, anime feminine stuff.
What's that girl's name? So is her name Ava or Eva? But the girl from
Stellarblade?
Yeah. So you can't
you can't make her. Nope. You can't make her. It stops like right before, I guess, the girl from Star Wars Outlaws.
That's
Uh,
goofy,
so
man.
people were like maxing out. So then other people, when it's crazy, because their arguments was just like, yo, like I remember I saw one argument. It's like, y'all realize Salma Hayek is a real person, right? Like,
Yeah.
why can't I make her? And then somebody was like, are you really complaining about a game where you can make whoever you want? And they're like, that's the thing though, you can't. Like, you can't make whoever you want because it stops you from making very overtly like feminine anime features. Uh, so it's weird because I've seen that argument get told to like also go out and touch grass, and I feel
Mm,
like they're fusing two issues. Like you have your people who, for whatever reason, can't handle a woman protagonist, or they automatically deem anything that's not like anything that's off like as woke, right?
mm-hmm.
Uh, not off, but anything that's like off the like or like the obvious like choices. They'll just automatically call it woke, and it's like there's that. But then there's the other people that are fighting for a form of representation that's like being removed, which
Yeah.
is your very, very easy on the eyes women sort of thing, which exists. There's gamers that are like that. Like if you look at Twitch, like not even like the Twitch like bathtub streams or things like that, but I just be like even legit gamers and everything that have the very stereotyped women bodies that they can't make themselves in this game. And it's like to me that is a fair argument that you are removing that. That is messed up. And it's crazy. I saw it with the controversy. It was like I wouldn't have even noticed because I would have made like a generic male character.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't even notice that this
Now,
was a
don't
thing.
they so in this game though, don't they still wear a lot of armor and stuff?
Yeah. Uh, for the most part, they wear armor. Uh, I don't know what some of the other cutscenes would be like. There are like in Inquisition, there was times where you were like chilling at your home like base, so you got to just wear regular clothes.
Mm-hmm.
So that could be a thing too. I don't know. We'll see. And I'm sure in the grand scheme of things, it should be good. I still plan on getting the game. I have another friend. She's really into the Dragon Age lore, so I want to get her opinions on this type of stuff that's coming out. But I know she's like getting it day one.
Okay.
Uh, I think it's a bigger deal that they're not carrying over. Like it seems like certain story things they're just gonna ignore. Which is or it's like they don't want to have to again program the game to like do that, or if they mess with like what's it called continuity, no one can call them out because it's fresh.
Right.
But that's what's going on with Dragon Age. I still plan on getting it. It might be early on. I don't like. I don't know if it'll be day one because I need to hear if people are like, "Yo, this ain't Dragon Age." Like this is like
That's still
let's say
it's
sort of
still
thing.
one of the hot games right now, right? Ain't that still
Yes.
it's still kind of even though I did see like I saw people kind of mad at the graphics in a way. They were calling it like they were saying they were using the word Disney is what I remember
Yeah,
seeing.
it is a little more
It
Red
got
Blue
some
looking.
Saints Row looking to me in a way. Like
Yeah,
that original trailer. Yeah.
I don't like the way the Kinari people look in there. It's like bull looking people.
Mhm.
They were a lot more monstrous in Inquisition. Like they went from like looking like bull monster like horned people to just looking like a person with horns.
Yeah. But I think the game will probably do well. It might not be it may be just out of game of the year, but I think it'll get nominated for something. Um
Probably.
I honestly think with like the way the industry is right now, that this game will get game of the year nomination and Black Myth Wukong would not. For that reason, because
Probably.
the people who basically were creating this or something like they didn't want a certain body type, intentionally, right? And at the same time, those type of people were with the way that they're thinking. Those are the type of people who would have said Black Myth does not have enough diversity and inclusion.
Yep.
And
Which is
so
crazy. Because, like, it's, yeah, avoiding a certain body type while admittedly putting in the effort to help represent an underrepresented body type.
yeah.
Uh, and that's what's going to get the focus.
Yeah, this nomination, honestly, like it is the make or break for that award show. Like if it really is that egregious where you could clearly see the bias and clearly see who's running things over there, the way we fear in a way. I would going forward just say let's just pay attention to the announcements because that's really what you would pay attention to anyway.
Oh, yeah.
Because nobody really remembers the rest of them awards like that. Like I couldn't tell you who won what from last year, but at the same time, it's like if like I'm really serious. If Black Myth Wukong is just like not mentioned at all, the
Like Harry
same
Potter.
way, yeah. Like if you see that with something like that, but then like certain games that really was pushing for certain things, they have everywhere because that's what they did with Alan Wake 2. And we found out right afterwards that the company that was working on it and the race swap, all that kind of stuff, it's like, well, that makes sense why this game was like on every nomination and nobody played it. So it was like only because I swear when I put out my video on that, like nobody cared. Like nobody was paying attention to this franchise. I was the only one paying attention to this franchise until that second game came out and they did all that other stuff, and then all of a sudden they were pushing it, but it still didn't have a franchise to nobody else. I'm like, well, who played this game? And I'm not really jumping Alan Wake 2 because I just still plan on playing it and Control. But it's like if you see that where you see a pattern, because we're gonna be able to see it clearly. Where certain games where we look at the game and see what's in the game, that's showing everywhere. But games that they generally just didn't like, you don't see at all. I don't think I will watch their show anymore. Like I'll watch a highlight if we have like, some goofy situations like that one kid from a few years ago who crashed the place, or there's just a meme moment, a viral moment, I'll watch that. But after that, it's just all about the surprises, all about the releases. I don't need to know about any award show, or awards on their award show, if they're just biased. But yeah, that's my 2 cents on that. Anything else before I get to my last topic?
No, that's it for me.
All right. The last topic, I actually just want to give some props to a very white hot demo that is out there right now for the game Metaphor ReFantazio. The demo is almost like a game in itself for people. Yeah. I haven't downloaded. I will probably claim it just because, but I was just pretty much gonna say I'm gonna go straight for the main game, but the demo is apparently like 20 hours long, and it is like people are calling this game of the year already based off the demo. And I was just like, yo, are we serious here? But they've perfected their formula. People are calling it a step up from the Persona series, and they're still hyped for Atlas. Just they're saying Atlas is the GOAT at these type of games. No different than how From Software is considered the GOAT of the Souls games. This game is hot. It is probably going to be in the Game of the Year contender for a lot of people. Yeah, and that demo, it's a demo, so it is free. So if you are somebody who has never played this type of game before, like a turn-based game with everything going on in this type of world, these type of graphics, these type of themes, definitely go get this demo. 20-hour demo is very meaty for you to like really sink your teeth into this. It sounds like people got really hooked on this game, and the main game is another one of those like 100 plus hour experiences, and you're gonna get your money's worth if you like this type of game. But yeah, we got to throw this game in there with some of the other games. 2024 may not seem like it's as hot as 2023 just because of the name value of some of the bigger name brands, but we still got some hot games out here. This was not that much of a dead year, maybe a little in the middle, but it wasn't the dead year though. Any words on this franchise? Any words on Atlas?
Bro, I'm excited to play it. I downloaded the demo. I just haven't tried it yet. But shout out to them. I hope they keep doing big things. I'm still waiting for Persona 6 news.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna still skip the demo. I want to go straight for the game. I'm pretty sold on it. Like I said, I was playing Persona 4 Golden. Outside of the novel stuff, as a game, it's still pretty. It's a pretty cool game. It's a good game. I played Persona 5. I bought Shin Megami Tensei 5 Vengeance Edition. I think I saw a graphic where somebody was saying this was a big year for Atlas because they came out with Persona 5 Tactics and Persona 3 Reloaded, Shin Megami Tensei 5 Vengeance, and now this game, Metaphor ReFantazio, all in this same year. So it's pretty dope, pretty cool game. So yeah, pretty cool franchise. Definitely they're a big deal when you really think about it, because when you think about that many releases that close, imagine if some of these other creators, these other system holders could come out with games that fast, that are considered like remember, each one you're talking about like hundreds of hours, well, not hundreds, but like at least 100 hours, right? So you got 4 of them. Like this one game publisher could have probably carried you for the whole year, especially if you were more like casual. So yeah, pretty cool. I think that is all we have. We're about close to an hour and a half mark. Any last words for the people?
Nah, stay away from that pro.
Stay away from the
They ain't
pro.
worth it.
Man, what's funny is they had them hoops that they had people to jump through, and it's just like it don't seem like people jumping through it. But even the bots, man, the bots don't want to jump through it. So it is what it is. Hopefully, the companies get it together, because the people have spoken. I think everybody has a certain threshold. They have a limit. Just like for me, I think $100 to buy the full package of Dragon Ball game is kind of a lot. Where somebody else might say $700 for a system that doesn't have the stand and the disc and full ownership of the games is kind of a lot too. I think in general we're going to see people have their limits, and it is what it is. They're going to have to figure out a way to lower them prices. They can't tell people that everything's going up, it has to go up. I mean, people just going to say, all right, I'm not buying it. When eggs was like, eggs was like $7 at one point, bro. I was done. I just didn't eat eggs. That's just what's gonna happen. I'm just not gonna eat eggs, and then when eggs go back down, I'll eat eggs. It's gonna be the same thing with gaming. I'm just not gonna game with certain games. When it goes down, I'll start gaming again. Shout out to this emulation device that is definitely filling in the gap. Definitely. But anyway, shout out to the Ambernick 40 RG40XXV. They need some better names going forward. But yeah. Like, comment, share, subscribe. I will catch y'all next week. Enjoy gaming. Peace.